Welcome, happy to have you here. Today is January 17th, 2022. Everybody always wants to know this topic that we're talking about. Don't forget that what we're talking about today is third step type stuff, which is we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Self-will. This is the topic of discussion today. We're going to just figure out what is self-will in this first half, and then in the second half, we're going to talk about commitment, dedication, and things like that. But today we're going to talk about self-will. Self-will, by definition, I'm going to tell you because I can't share my screen, is the quality of obstinately doing what one wants in spite of the wishes or orders of others. The quality of obstinately doing what one wants in spite of the wishes or orders of others. Now, does anybody know what obstinate means? To do something obstinately, means to stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or chosen course of action despite attempts to persuade one to do so. This is what we're talking about. The quality of stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion despite the wishes or orders of others. Let's just take a second and think about this. Have you ever stubbornly refused to change your opinion or chosen course of action when people have tried to persuade you otherwise? Like, relationship is where you see this the most. Has anybody ever been in a bad relationship before? You may have, or you've seen someone. No, not me. Well, you may have seen someone who's in a bad relationship too, right? So let's say someone's in a bad relationship. You may go to them and say, hey man, they're no good for you. I think it's a bad idea that you date this person. You may point out some red flags or whatever the case may be. And that person looks at you and says something like, nah, man, they're good for me. You don't understand. You don't get it, dude. And they're stubbornly refusing to change their opinion about this person. And they look at you and tell you that you're wrong and continue to go out with them. You may even see family looking at that person saying, I wish you wouldn't date that person. I wish you wouldn't be with that person. And they refuse to not be with that person. They continue to go despite the wishes and orders of others, or any attempts to persuade them otherwise, People will actually attempt to persuade them about their bad relationship with actual evidence. They'll be like, dude, look at their track record. Maybe they'll be like, they dated this person, this person, this person. You know what I mean? These are examples of how it hasn't worked. This is what happens to you. These are some red flags. It happened to me that I've seen in my relationships. And the person is refusing, stubbornly. Like, they see it too. This is where the stubbornness comes in. They see it too, but they go, no, nope, you're wrong. You're wrong about her. She's the best, man. We're good for each other. You don't understand. And you're like, oh my God, this is an insane person. This person is blind. They're blind with love or whatever, Our addiction causes us to act in this sort of way, It's almost as if you know what the fucking answer is, You know exactly what to do, but we don't do it, And it's like smoking, Smoking cigarettes is so obviously bad for people. It is so abundantly clear. There's so much information out there about how bad smoking is, and there's evidence about it, all types of shit, but people still do it despite the wishes. I wish you wouldn't smoke. You'll have people's children. Their children will look them dead in the eye and be like, why do you smoke? I wish you'd stop smoking. It's like this kid. It's a kid who's like fucking can't even talk, can barely talk, knows that smoking's bad. And here we are, stubbornly refusing to listen to a kid, not because they're wrong, but because we can't. And we can't because of the addiction. Cigarettes are fucking addictive. Okay? Now, oh man, I don't even want to get into it. Just because it's addictive doesn't mean that we're not going to take our will back. Okay? Just because it's non-addictive doesn't mean that we can't change our opinion about it or even change our course of action around it. But today specifically, we're talking about addiction, okay? Now, here's the whole thing. Here's the whole idea. We're here. Here we are, rehab, okay? Here we are. We're in my fucking class, dude, okay? So if you're here, then you know you're powerless over drugs. You know your life is unmanageable. Some of you went over this with me. Some of you already went through all the fucking evidence, the denial, the reservations, all that shit, dude. The unmanageability, the powerlessness, everything. And it's abundantly clear we have a problem. It's abundantly clear our life is unmanageable, okay? It's obvious. Then we go over the second step. And it's like, yo, we first of all, that unmanageability, we know exactly how to get that. Exactly. And it's not just drugs, okay? So we know that if we get high, we can go back to that life. Just getting high once can send us back to that life. We know that, right? Bro, I know for a fact that if I have sugar early on in the day, I'm done. Goodbye. No diet. Dude, I have one piece of sugar and I am off to the races, dude. I'm powerless over that. That's just what sugar does. That's why it's a moneymaker. That's why it's created. Now, I come to believe that if I don't have sugar, it's just a thought. And I just need to tackle my own thought over sugar. And if I stop it at the first one, I stop the rest of it, right? The same with arguments, right? So let's say I'm in an argument with someone and they're trying to tell me how I'm wrong, or they're trying to tell me something wrong on me, some character defect or shortcoming, some lack, imperfection, okay? And they're trying to tell me. It's up to me I can refuse it, you know what I mean? But it's about taking it in and making my own decision about it. Some people are afraid, unable to actually take the information in and make their own decision about it. And that's what second step is. Here's information about what can work. You know what I mean? Take it in. Make your own choice about it. Talk to more than one person. Do a little bit of research, okay? So in the second step, we do research about what will work for us. In the first step, we do research about what will not work for us. We come to believe that our life is unmanageable. We're an addict. We have this problem, whatever the case may be. In the second step, we have some sort of answer, some solution that we did research for. We came to believe that it can work. I hear it works. I see it works. I fucking watch it work, whatever the case may be. Now, the third step is, what are you going with, bud? Are you going to go with what you know is going to work? Or are you going to go with what you think is going to work this time? And that is the insanity. The funny thing is that if we go out of what will work, it's just further demonstration of the insanity that we found in the second step. That's all it is. And it's repeating the same behavior, expecting a different result. Bro, getting high is going to send us right back to where we were. And some people, has anybody ever been to treatment before? Right? These are just questions to ask yourself. Are you improving?
I think for me, the first 2 times I went, it wasn't 100% my decision. And so I wasn't fully engrossed in it. And this past time, it was 100% my decision. And so I think that changed the lens a little bit on taking things in and being able to accept that, I don't know everything. I can't do this, the Steven way. It just wasn't working at all.
When your will aligns with what you're supposed to do, you have long-term success. You know what I mean? So you're like, okay, this is what I have to do. And not only do I have to do it, but I also want to do it. So it's like you're it's both of them working together, when instead it's like, this is what I have to do, and I don't want to fucking do it. I'd rather do this. You know what I mean? And it's not going to work because this is what we have to do. And we go around trying everything the fuck else, trying it every other way, until this is literally the last option, the last fucking road on the block, and this is what we have to do, and we go with it.
I'm having to get a mentor. And I've thought about it for several weeks now, but I feel like I'm stalling out a little bit. So I've got to make that move in the next 2 days. I've gave myself a 2-day grace period. And I'm just going to go for it on one of the groups I'm in on virtual. And if I have to change in a week or a month, whatever, then fine. But I got to get one. That's the next step. And I feel like I'm stalling out, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to submit myself to that and give myself over to somebody else's somewhat control.
You're just changing your opinion or course of action. So in this case, you're changing your course of action. You're just like, I'm gonna fucking do it. You know what I mean? Everybody's been telling me to do so. Everybody's been talking about it. I haven't been doing it. You know what I mean? So now I'm just gonna do it. You're changing one course of action. Literally turning your will over. The same way you, Steven. You know what I mean? You're like, all I have to do is just do this. I just have to do this. This is what everybody tells me to do. And you turn it over. You know what I mean? You change your course of action. Even changing your opinion. Like, damn, maybe I should do this. Maybe this is the thing I should do. When maybe, even with the mentor, there could be a part of you that is just like, nah, I got it. I don't need to do that. Or I can do it later. Or, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal right now, you know? And all of these things are just subtle, super subtle. Because remember, a big thing to recognize in the definition is quality, okay? There's several different qualities of self-will. Just like there's many different qualities of blankets, okay? You can get a Walmart quality blanket. You could. You know what I mean? You could have Target quality blanket, Bed Bath & Beyond quality blanket. You know what I mean? Whatever quality you want, you're going to get. Now, some people have really good quality self-will. They can count the threads woven in between. They can exactly tell you how you're wrong. You know, no. That's not going to work for me. You're wrong. This is wrong. Later, this and that. Their self-will is just threaded in every single area of their life that you can't tell them fucking anything, dude, because you know nothing. And it's like, okay, all right, yeah. And that person is just going to keep on getting the same thing that they've been getting because they're not learning anything new. They're not open to fucking new knowledge. They're not accepting that, like, they're wrong. And, bro, if you can't accept that you're wrong and you're in rehab, damn. That's all I can say about that is just damn. Let's get into some of this literature. All right, step 3. Oh my fucking God, this is crazy, dude. We're about to really get into it. Wait till you hear this fucking description. This is disgusting, dude. Step 3 is critical because we've acted on self-will for so long, abusing our right to make choices and decisions. Yeah. You can leave. Yeah, you can smoke. Yeah, you can AMA. Yeah, you can go on your website. You can watch your TV. You can put your headphones in. You're right. You can fucking call out sick. You can do all this shit. That's totally cool. You're an adult. You tell everybody, I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I can make my own choices. Yeah, you can. You're an adult. You sure can make your own choices. And you're choosing the one that's going to make you fucking homeless. You're choosing the one that's going to have you not have any fucking relationships. And you're abusing your right to make choices to the point that you're not going to be able to make them anymore. And you're going to be addicted to drugs again. And you're going to have more problems. And it's going to happen even faster because we just chose these things. There's nothing that I can fucking... Nothing that you can tell me. You know what I mean? That's, bro, fine. I guess there's nothing I can tell you. I guess there's going to be nothing that you can tell you too. It's just choices, right? Every single day we have choices. So what exactly is self-will? Okay, Jimmy, what is this fucking self-will thing you talk about? Sometimes it's total isolation and withdrawal. So just being like, hey, Jimmy, why don't you come out? And I'm just like, nah, I'm going to hang out. I'm going to stay at home. Total isolation and withdrawal. We end up living a very lonely and self-absorbed existence. It's lonely. It's self-absorbed, right? Stubbornly refusing one's opinion. No, no, no. Hey, dude, do you mind picking me up from work? Nah, dude, I can't. I gotta do this. And just always focused on self, right? Sometimes self-will causes us to act to the exclusion of any considerations other than what we want. Anything. I'm not listening to anything other than what we want. Now, an act of addiction, that is like so obvious. It's so abundantly clear. You ever try to talk to somebody when they haven't had their morning cigarette? Don't talk to me. I haven't had my cigarette yet. They're like, no. It's like, yo, I want to talk to you. They're like, no. Stubbornly refusing. No. I'm going to go have my... And they get like more and more aggressive until they get their way. And the other person's like, whatever, dude. And they go outside and kill themselves slowly and fucking sit there. And the other in isolation and withdraw. The very solution is to sit there and talk it the fuck out and work it out, right? Because the person's talking to you and saying, hey, I'd love to work this out. We're the ones who are like, no, I need to go outside. Don't talk to me yet, bro. I haven't had my coffee. Bro, wake up. So what? You haven't had your coffee, dude. That's a drug. Coffee's a drug, right? Cigarettes is a drug. Now that's just coffee and cigarettes. Try talking to somebody when they haven't had heroin in the morning. Try talking to somebody when they haven't had a drink in the morning, okay? Hey, I need you to clean your room. I fucking can't even move. Clean my room? Who are you talking to? But you can't say that, though, because you'll be homeless, maybe. I don't know. You can't say that, so maybe you have to hide that emotion, right? Which is fucking crazy. This is literally how it happens. So, hey, clean your room, and you can't be like, bro, I'm sick. Leave me alone. I'm, like, not feeling well. You just say, fine, whatever. Just, And they're like, okay, God, dude, I'm just fucking asking you to fucking clean up after yourself. My bad. They don't even see they're refusing to change their course of action. What is their course of action? Sitting on the couch all day, waiting to get the next one. Despite people trying to persuade them otherwise, okay? Now, this is where it gets a little bit more intense. We ignore the needs and feelings of others. So it says, sometimes self-will causes us to act to the exclusion of any considerations other than what we want. Yo, like, you shouldn't eat that, but I wanna eat it. Yo, you shouldn't drink that, but I want to. What do you mean? Like, you ever seen that when somebody like says something to you? Like, I remember one time a girl was like, yo, you don't have to eat that much. And I was like, but I want to. You know what I mean? And you're like, wait a second. I don't? I have a choice? What are you talking about? I don't have to be full. You know what I mean? I remember like saying that people used to say that to me about getting high. Yo, you don't have to do another one. I'm like, Are you not doing another one? I thought we were going to get high, dude. And they're like, bro, I'm high as shit right now. And I'm just like getting off E. We ignore the needs and feelings of others. Has anybody ever AMA'd from treatment before? Has anybody ever left a treatment center against medical advice? Okay. That is self-will. That is, if you want to put self-will in a little fucking 3-letter acronym, AMA. That's what self-will is in a nutshell. Ignore the needs and feelings of others. Like, if you're stealing, you are ignoring the needs of somebody needs money. They're like, I need fucking money, dude, to pay rent, and I'm stealing from you. Don't care about your need. Hey, I'd really like it if you weren't getting high. I really feel as if we're separating. I really need you to be here, whatever the case may be. We just ignore it, bro. Don't. So, whatever it is, just self-will. We barrel through, stampeding over anyone who questions our right to do whatever we want. Just barrel through. You ever had to get something on break, get drugs or alcohol on like break from work, and you're just like driving, rolling through stop signs, speeding through red lights, fucking driving in the breakdown lane, cutting people off, giving absolutely zero fucks about the other people on the road. Just stampeding, bro. Just even people who, dude, the AMA, right? Everyone's like, dude, you don't have to do this. You don't have to leave and get high. And we are just like, bro, yes, I do. Get the fuck away from me. You don't understand. We become tornadoes. Now, this is where the driving kind of makes sense to me. We become tornadoes, whipping through the lives of family, friends, and even strangers, totally unconscious of the path of destruction we left behind. In active addiction, I stole from everybody. Everybody, dude. Drinking and driving. When someone's drinking and driving, you think they give a fuck about other people on the road? Dude, I just have to get there. Bro, people who like are drug dealers, right? You think drug dealers give a fuck about friends? You think that drug dealer gives a shit about your friend, your family, anything like that? McDonald's don't give a fuck if you're on a diet. They're gonna fucking take your money and shove a fucking Big Mac down your face. You think the fucking dope man gives a shit that you just OD'd the other day on fentanyl? So did everybody else on this batch. You think the fucking guy behind the fucking bar cares enough to fucking bring you to an AA meeting? Or fucking take your keys, dude, without calling the cops because you're acting a fool? Because imagine this. This is what you'll see. Drinking at the bar, and the bartender's like, hey, man, if you want another drink, I'm going to have to take your keys. And you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And you give the keys over, take the drink, and then you argue with the bartender, get your keys back. Bro, I'm fine. They're like, no, please don't drive. We're not going to let you drive. And it's just this big thing. Turned into a big mess. More problems than before. I used to steal from everybody. My friends, parents. I used to steal from everybody. If circumstances aren't to our liking, we try to change them by any means necessary to achieve our aims. If we just don't like it, right? You ever like been out? You ever like have to go somewhere and someone's like, hey, we're going somewhere, and you're like, I don't want to go there, dude. And they're like, well, we're going. And then you go and you're just like this the whole time. Or maybe you know someone like this, dude, who just pouts the whole time, just has a bad attitude, bro. They don't like what's happening, and they know that there's nothing that they can do about it, so they're resorting to the last things that they can do, which is just make everybody else have a bad time. If I'm going to be here and have a bad time, everybody else is going to have a bad time. And then the hope is that this will end sooner. You know what I mean? If I do this, then everybody's going to fucking end. This is going to be the end, and then it'll be over, and yada, yada, yada. We try to get our way at all costs. We are so busy aggressively pursuing our impulses that we completely lose touch with our conscious and a higher power. To work this step, each of us needs to identify the ways in which we've acted on self-will. So just think, how many times people are like, man, I wish you'd get sober. I wish you'd get clean. You should get clean. Maybe that's not going to work. That's a stupid idea. That's not good, right? You should fix this. You should fix that. And in those times, we just stubbornly refuse to change our opinion. No, I got it. No, I'm good. Don't worry about me. You worry about you. I know what I'm doing. I've done this before. I've had it. I've had the clean time, you know. Or refusing to change your actions. Like, dude, this is the thing that's crazy. This is where I think people fuck up the most. Because I think that people are kind of open to, like, changing their opinion. But they're refusing to change the action, dude. You know what I mean? Like, people will say, they can lie. They're big liars. Liars are easy. You know what I mean? It's easy to say, okay, you are right. I'll do that. It's another thing to literally change the behavior. You know what I mean? To change your course of action. And like that is, you can't hide that. That's unhideable. You can't lie your way into recovery. You know what I mean? You can't lie your way into fucking sobriety. So some people will be like, yeah, so I got this plan. I'm gonna get out of halfway house and go live with my alcoholic girlfriend that I met in rehab. But she AMA'd and she's doing good. And I'm going to go hang out with her. Now, this is a very exaggerated example, okay? But somebody may say, well, that's a dumb idea. That's stupid. You shouldn't do that. And if someone's in self-will, they may say, well, it's cool because I'm going to like test my recovery. And it's kind of cool because she's like been sober before and I'm really excited. It's like, dude, it's a bad idea. Like, how about you ask, the right answer to that is, how is it a bad idea? Why do you think that's a bad idea? Not like trying to make examples. And people do this all the time, right? Like, hey, dude, you're acting like an asshole right now. Well, it's their fault. You know what I mean? Hey, you know, like that's not going to work with this. That's not going to work with that. But we just refuse their opinion. Refuse the order that they may have given or the wish. You know, I wish you'd do it a different way. Yeah, whatever, dude. I'm going to do it this way. I know what I'm doing. So, how do we get into this? How do we get out of this? Let's start with some of these questions. And real quick, let's just get this out of the way. How have I acted on self-will? Has anybody acted on self-will before? After that whole discussion, how have you acted on it before? Please unmute yourself and explain how you've acted on self-will before.
I have for 20 years, in a negative way. Lord, the multiple arrests, 25, 30 times I've been arrested. Most of them, about all of them, in some form or fashion, substance abuse related. And I just kept on doing it. You know, the money, the fines, the incarceration. Or the headaches and the nightmares and the fights and the arguing and the worry, and just kept on doing it. that I've got a lot of issues with ignoring and doing what I want with my self-will. A lot of them. I mean, years of them. Years. Just recently with my mentor, the mentor thing. Everybody says mentor. You got to get a mentor, and I just pushed it off and thought, well, I'll wait, and I just realized I can't really wait anymore. And it doesn't, like everybody that's told me had any kind of good opinion. They've all said, just get one, just get one. It doesn't matter, just do it. So I want to do it. I have no choice. That's the next step, and I put it off, and so I'm gonna get one.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. What do you think your motives were? And like, what were some of your like things that you were telling yourself that caused you to keep on acting on self-will?
That I had it. It's not me. I'm different than everybody. I'm not, I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to change. This is going to change the outcome. My change is going to change the outcome. With my mentor, it was just, I'm not ready yet. I'm going to move sometime soon or whenever I get out of this program. I was thinking, all right, well, I don't want to have to change mentors. I had 100 excuses. I don't know if I'll pick a bad one or I'll end up with some jackass or something. And then the work, then I have to really do the work. I have to really start writing this stuff down and all that, those excuses, for the mentor deal. And I always thought, this would be the last time I walk out of jail. This is the last time I walk out of jail. All right, this ain't gonna happen again. I know what I did wrong that time. But I never changed anything. Just kept on drinking and smoking and all of it.
And I think it's interesting because you didn't say this. I'm just assuming because I've seen it several times. Is that the time we spend in jail in those literal moments of withdraw and isolation because we stubbornly refuse. You know what I mean? In those times, it's like we get out of jail and we think the answer. And I always say this was I went down Main Street. It wasn't alcohol. So the plan we go out with is, well, now when I drink, I'll start drinking at this bar because my drive home is differently, or I'll drink beer instead of hard booze, or whatever the case may be. It's never removing alcohol. It's fucking intense, dude. It's intense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The months I've spent in jail and thought, okay, I just got to stay away from these certain people and I'll be fine. And I'd stay away from those people. I'd do exactly what my plan was, and it made no difference.
Right.
I always go back to jail.
Thank you. You're not taking the suggestions. It's almost like you're taking them, but you're not like doing them the way that you're supposed to do it. You're just like tweaking it a little bit.
Making it more comfortable.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's almost like, cause you're like, I'm taking the medication, I'm seeing the doctors, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's almost like there's always this one piece that you're like not letting go of or doing the right way or something.
I mean, my biggest thing probably that kept me out the longest was, it was like a mix of pride, but also like, I just didn't want to be sick. I didn't want something to be wrong with me. Like I had like a stigma on myself.
Gotcha.
And so, granted, like the entire time, I'm drinking, I'm driving, I'm passing out, I'm drinking at work. Like I'm handling some really intense work shit that costs a lot of people a lot of money, and I'm just like fucking lit out of my mind. Like, I had a genuine issue, but my biggest thing, it wasn't necessarily the refusal to admit because I didn't think I was an alcoholic. It was I just didn't want to be sick. You know what I mean? So that was another side of it, too, that really pushed that self-will thing of I can will if I got myself here, I can get myself out. I'm not sick. I can do better. Da 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 da.
Got you. Thank you, bro. What about you?
Mine's kind of gradual, my self-will, and this has been happening, I don't know, the past 5 or 6 relapses for me, and I can see it clearly now. But when it's happening, it's hard to see. And what happens is, I'm gun ho off the gate, man. I get the sponsor. I start working the steps. I do what is suggested, and then gradually my self-will will take over. I'll not call my sponsor every day. It starts with that. I won't pray as long. Then it's okay. I'll pray tomorrow. Then it's all right. In a couple days I'll pray or whatever. Or I stop going to meetings. It's always the same thing. I just gradually just stop doing the things that were helping me stay clean and sober to begin with.
Mm.
And that's the frustrating part of it, because I know this,
What
my mind tells me I can do it.
What do you think is your motives behind the slow each kind of step? You know what I mean?
It could be anywhere from self-sabotage to just not giving a shit after a while, just thinking that I could handle it,
So is it kind of like the opinion or the course of action that comes first?
The opinion, I think, the thought, opinion, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to break that cycle, and I know this, but it's like, I know this now, right? But am I going to know this like 2 weeks from now, or is my mind going to go revert back to, well, I don't need to do this as much. I don't, it just, my mind is so powerful. And insanity is that I start listening to it after a while. If I disconnect from the program, if I disconnect from my higher power, it doesn't take long. If I think about it, it just, like I said, gradually just sneaks up, like cunning, baffling, and powerful.
And I think, bro, just so I'm going to give you guys the shortcut to the answer, and then we're going to take a break. The only way, one of the only ways, there's 2 ways, okay? One of the only ways to recognize this is other people. Other people are going to tell you, this is wrong, do this, you're fucking up here, you're fucking up there. And we have to be open-minded to that and listen and inquire and be like, how am I doing this? How can I fix it? How is a big response to people recognizing this to us? Not refusing, not stubbornly refusing. We need to be open-minded to this when somebody wishes or orders us to do something. And the other thing is, other signs, so one sign is going to come externally from other people, rules, right? Like you guys have rules at the facility. So you need to go with the rules or else you're going to get kicked out. You're going to have some sort of issue, right? The other signs are internally, okay? Your body, your mind, things like that are going to tell you shit's getting fucked. You know what I mean? You're going to be registering this because you're going to be like, damn, I can't breathe. You know what I mean? Or I can't do this, yada, yada, yada. So those are going to be the other signs that are going to tell you that you've been taking your will back lately, and we're going to have to start changing our opinion or course of action, right? Diet is one example. So somebody may say, no, my diet's working, it's the best, my exercise routine, yada, yada, yada. But then you see them not losing weight. So they need to change their opinion and course of action about something to get the result they want. People are actually trying to change our opinion or action. Like they're literally trying to persuade us to do so. And we are just stubbornly refusing, denying that. Acting on self-will, it gradually sneaks up on us. It not only causes us to mess up our lives more, but it also causes us it prevents us from doing things that are going to help us. We were talking about how our self-will got in the way of getting a mentor or a sponsor, talking about how self-will caused us to change drugs, even try to manipulate ourselves into keeping drugs in our life by not even identifying drugs as a problem, but switching them up. Now my question to you guys is, how can doing this impact your life? So how does acting on self-will impact your life?
I got family issues, financial issues, job issues, spiritual issues right now, mental issues, I mean, I could go down the list. And this is all self-will. Every nobody said, Rick, fuck up your spirituality. Rick, fuck up your family. The only one that said that is right.
Right.
Not intentionally, not. It's just quietness about it, the sneakiness about this disease that just kicks my ass every time.
And I think it's important to point out that the wishes, specifically our addiction, and often when you apply it to your addiction, you'll apply it to other problem areas of your life and you'll see a common theme. But it's like the wishes and orders that people are presenting me are good for me. I'm the one who's not taking it, who's refusing it. Thank you. Anybody else?
I think the only thing I would add to it, what is health issues. I mean, I know when I first went into this past treatment about 36 days ago, I mean, my red blood cell count and my liver enzymes were almost as bad as you could possibly think. And I didn't care. I mean, it's not like, you see it. And so, like, oh, I'm good. And then, you sort of get hit with a ton of bricks when it's so low that they told me if I had a cut or anything, they would immediately have to take me to the hospital because I was going to bleed out just from a cut.
So when you act on self-will and you get in that mindset, how does that affect your friends, your family, your coworkers?
It puts them in a bad position. It hurts them emotionally, financially, spiritually, mentally. It destroys some of their lives at times. A lot. It affects them a lot.
Yeah.
Closer the family member or friend, and even strangers. People you don't know. Your own self-will could kill them. Maim, take them away from their family.
Yeah, big time. Even like, talking about like drinking and driving, just because we stubbornly refuse to follow the orders, the literal law. You know what I mean? Our behaviors impacting other people. They say that the family of the addict is just as sick as the addict too. You know what I mean? So they go through this recovery process.
What's that mean? Are you saying like the family of the addict is just as sick as the addict? What you mean by that?
There can be times where families enable behavior. So think about this. You got a family member living in home with the parents, struggling with addiction, then going to talk to the person about their problems. They get severely angry, refuse to talk about the situation, yell, argue, isolate in their room. Now the family's like, yo, what the fuck? We can't even have a conversation with this person. So the whole house is on eggshells, and you have the people whose house it is now almost like victim to the addiction, unable to confront it, and then there's trauma associated with that. And it trickles in other areas of life. So maybe somebody has multiple issues. So they don't want to talk about their addiction. They can't talk to them about that. You can't talk to them about their depression. You can't talk to them about their eating habits. Each thing, they have the same reaction. So then there's just no communication. Now we can't even talk, period, dude. So you see the family, then that may impact their relationships at work. So now the addiction of the family members now impacting their relationships at work because they need to leave early because a family member overdosed or a family member got into a DUI thing, or last night they had this big issue and they're unable to like fix it or leave it at home, so it brings them into work. These are just so many different examples that the addict's addiction can impact family members or people who are in relationships with them, and they need to come to their own decision of, well, do I stay with this person and hope that they get sober, or do I remove myself and protect myself? You know, so it's a very... That's what I mean by they get just as sick. You know, there's trauma associated with that, and it trickles into relationships to the point that I used to have, I remember one time my dad told me a story that he had his friend come over, and my dad was walking everywhere around the house with his bag. So he had a bag that he kept like his checkbook, his wallet, his weed, everything in, and he would walk it around the house. And one day my dad's friend came over and was like, yo, what are you doing with your fucking bag, dude? And he's like, oh, and he like took a second to be like, dude, like, this isn't normal. You know what I mean? He's like, I carry it around. He's like, well, why do you carry your bag around your house? Just leave it in your fucking room or something. And he's like, I fucking can't, because my fucking kids will steal from it, dude. And then his friends are like, you got fucking, your kids are addicted to drugs. They live with you? You see what I mean? So this is just how the addiction can impact family members, dude, in their life, in their behavior, in their chosen course of action. Does that explain it a little bit more?
Yeah.
You can definitely see how they can become just as sick as the addict, dude. Just in the efforts of protecting themselves from the addiction. And then and some of them even get high. You see people like this drink a lot, perhaps. Maybe heavy wine users or something like that. Maybe they take Xanax. Who knows? Now think about this, bro. Now you answer me, dude. Now that I gave you that explanation, you give me an answer to this. How can recovery positively impact one's relationships? Like, how can going with... So, if self-will is stubbornly doing what we want to do, God's will is doing what we're supposed to do, which is people maybe saying to us, get your shit together. You know what I mean? Stop getting fucking high, yada, yada, yada. If we do that, how do you think that will affect others?
I feel like relationship-wise, it definitely build it up. Like, you get the chance to have more time. That's like a big thing. And we all don't have time like that. So being able to have time to be able to spend with your family members and being able to build those relationships with friends, that's definitely something that's going to be more powerful than what you could do just wasting your time on drugs.
Imagine the people who love you most, right? Instead of them going around, hey, how you doing? Yeah, he's great. He's doing real well. You know what I mean? Like, now, authentically, how's fucking great, dude. He's fucking crushing it, man. He's doing awesome. And that's in every area of life, that your name is no longer a burden to bring up. You know what I mean? It's no longer like... like, just, you know how I'm talking about, like, drugs, alcohol, how those things prompt the thought, you know what I mean, and emotion. Imagine prompting the drug addict who's just destroying themselves in your life and the down, depressive, anxiety, anger, resentful emotion associated. How's Derek doing? Oh, he's doing, and then you have to hide that. You know what I mean? And be like, great, he's doing really well, because you don't want to bring it into work, you know, but now, no longer having to hide it, no longer having to, like, lie and allow the positivity to flow freely, he's doing fucking great. He's killing it. Like, I mean, he hasn't been doing this good since who knows how long. That's freedom, dude. And that freedom that goes to other people only comes from the freedom of the honesty that we get from saying, I am a fucking addict, but I'm doing something about it. I'm an addict in recovery, dude. And we get to joyfully, freely say that, dude. And then when we say shit like that, other people have the freedom to say those other things, dude. And that's how that occurs. That's that fucking trickle effect. And that's the ripple effect, the positive impact that recovery can have just being fucking sober. Let's keep going, dude. Surrendering our self-will doesn't mean we can't pursue goals or try to make changes in our lives and the world. It doesn't mean we have to passively accept injustices to ourselves or to people for whom we're responsible. We need to differentiate between destructive self-will and constructive action, okay? Let me ask you guys this. Anybody ever work in construction before? If you haven't worked in construction, I'm assuming you've seen construction done at some point in your life. Let me ask you this. How long does it take to build something?
Depends on what you're building. You're building a spec home at 1,200 square foot. You can get it in dry with a crew of 5 people. That's with a floor system, not on a pad. Floor system, you're looking at a week.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe 3 days if you hammer.
Yeah.
Probably a week. That's just in the dry. That's no sheetrock, wiring, HVAC, plumbing, or any kind of interior, anything.
Yeah. Now, a good point. That's just like the fucking bones of the house. You know what I mean? Then you put it all together. I mean, to the point that it's someone's living in it, 6 months, 2 months?
6 months. If you had the electricians, plumbers, everybody lined up and ready to rock and roll, minimum 2 months. It's probably going to be more like 5 or 6 before the people actually can move in.
Yeah.
And everything's done. Grade work.
Inspections. Yep. That'll take the most time. Hurry up and wait type shit. So, right. Even now that's with anything you build, dude. Even now, you know what? It may even take more time than building a brand new house. Restoring a house. You know what I mean? Like taking an old house and making it livable again. And some people may want the same structure, the same wood. So what's crazy is you got to go take that wood, then you got to like sand it down. You got to make it like livable again. You know what I mean? It would take a lot to do that, okay? Now, how much time, and that would take a lot of time, to construct the house, restore the house, whatever. How long would it take to destroy the house?
About 5 minutes, a gallon of gas in there.
A gallon of gas and a match. You know what's another one? You know what's another good one? You could take a sock and you could shove it in the drain on the top bathroom and just crank that fucker on and just walk away. Just watch the whole thing just fill with water and just destroy the fucking thing, right? Think about how much it takes to construct the house. How many tools go into it? How many men go into it? How much time, nails, effort, fixing it, inspection, 6 months, this and that. And you said all it takes is one fucking guy, a gallon of gas, and a match. All it takes is a fucking sock. A sock to destroy the house. Bro, borrow a sledgehammer and just have at it. One whack at a time, dude. Right? Go ahead. Get yourself a fucking prescription of Xanax, dude. Have at it. One pill at a time, dude. Go ahead, get yourself a fucking 30-pack. Have at it, one beer at a time. Right? Go ahead. That's it. It takes a lot to fix ourselves, bro. It takes a lot, you know what I mean? But to destroy it happens like that. It takes one oh shit to ruin 1,000 attaboys. Okay? That's all it takes. Now, we're only trying, now this is specifically around getting sober and getting clean and yada, yada, yada. So, is pursuing recovery gonna harm anybody? You know what I mean? Like, in your own pursuit of recovery, going and to meetings, like, you know, you can't, it takes time to get time. It takes time to get 90 and 90. It takes time to read literature. It takes time to find a sponsor, to build a relationship with the sponsor, all these things. How long do you think it would take for somebody to... It takes a year to get a year clean. How long do you think it would take to relapse? Maybe some of us are some experienced in this. How long would it take?
A couple hours.
Couple hours. There you... Welcome.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
Really, it can happen anytime, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, somebody could be going through something that could trigger them, and just take that 1 second, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I like that you brought up the planning. You know what I mean? You considered the thought part of the process. You know what I mean? So that's very interesting. When even the opinion is what takes the most time. It's the course of action that takes the least amount of time. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like you're saying, you could fucking just walk down the store. Go to the gas station. You know what I mean? It takes 2 fucking seconds, dude. But it takes a year to get a year. It takes 90 days to go to 90 meetings in 90 days, you know? I don't know how fast you can read, but I know people out there who didn't know how to read and started reading and then read the basic text. I don't know how long that took them. Probably took them a long time. You know what I mean? But they fucking did it. They found a way and actually did it. Will you pursuing your goals harm anyone? Will you pursuing recovery or graduating this program harm anybody?
No.
How not? How will it not harm people?
Because I mean, like, you know, a lot of good things come from being sober, you know. Such as, like, you know, I don't know. When you sober, you know, you basically just get a clear mind or a clear sight of, you know, how it's going to be in the future. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, being sober does take a lot, and it's not just something you do. You know, it takes a lot of discipline. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I guess that's what I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but
no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, imagine everybody around you. Imagine everybody around you like, dude, just get sober. How about you get sober? Just fucking get sober. Get sober. They're just saying over and over, go to treatment. Get sober. Get fucking clean. Blah, 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 blah. And then, like, we do it. And it's like, now our goal is to just do that. People are going to be like, nice, bro. Fuck yeah. Good. They're not going to be like, oh, you fucking piece of shit. You went and got sober? In pursuit of what I want, is it likely I will end up doing things that adversely affect myself or others?
I think, of course. I mean, whether it be legal issues, relationship issues, because... You know, now it's almost like other people are more worried about you than you are of yourself. And this self-destructive, self-sabotaging behavior weighs a heavy burden on family and friends and people that are close to you. Like, they see it because they have a clear mind. You're in an altered state, and the only thing that you can think about is where am I going to get the money to be able to get to my next hit, to, so on and so forth. And, they see that behavior, so they worry. And, I can't tell you, how many different shows or things that I've read that are like, people are just waiting for that phone call in the middle of the night. And so, I think, of course, that, it affects yourself and everybody around you that truly cares about your well-being.
Mm.
You mean in recovery, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I definitely think so, because y'all definitely preach you have to be selfish in your recovery. So there's going to be times that you have to put yourself first or others in order to stay sober and keep moving in your journey in recovery. You know what I mean?
I think it's important to recognize that. Just consider this, okay? You get sober, people are going to be impacted. People you're running with aren't going to have anybody to run with anymore. And they're going to be upset about that. But the people who you value the most, and these may be family members, these may be spouses, these may be close friends, like lifelong friends maybe. I don't know, dude. Right? They're going to encourage you to get sober. They're going to know that this is what you need to do to be okay. And they're going to allow it to take time away. You know what I mean? They're going to allow you to take time for yourself to do your thing, and they're going to be waiting for you. The other friends the other people, whoever those people are not going to have the same reaction. I often share about how I used to see people who got out of rehab, and I'd be like, yo, I haven't seen you in a while. We'd be getting high together. I'd be like, yo, I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been, bro? And he's like, oh, dude, I went to rehab. And I'm like, damn, bro, we're getting high together. Should you be doing? And I actually didn't even consider that. You know what I mean? Back then, I was just happy to be using with him again, dude. I had actually never even considered that. I was just happy to use with him again. So I imagine that other people feel the same way. I'm not a fucking scientist. I just know that when people in active addiction were like, yo, I got out of rehab. I'm like, wow, that's sick, dude. They're like, yeah, it was like a 2-month vacation, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, wow. Well, let's get high. Let me get 2. I'll take 2 of those things. Are you going to have to compromise any principles in achieving your goals of recovery? Are you going to have to lie, cheat, be cruel, disloyal, anything like that?
No, you won't have to. I won't have to. To stay sober?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Right?
Most certainly will improve those values that I have if I do the right thing.
So have there been times in your recovery where you believed and took your will back and it was not enough? And describe those times. Describe one of those times.
Right now, in the last week probably, I've kind of hit a wall. And I know it's because I don't have a mentor and I'm not working the steps. I'm not learning the steps. I just had kind of a time like flashbacks from my old behaviors, where I would, for some reason I would think to myself, if I were in a certain area where I grew up, where I can use real easy, I'd be in trouble. I would want to get out of that area. And I know it's because I'm stalling out. I feel like I'm stalling out. I've got a couple other issues with my job and insurance that cause stress, and that causes more thoughts of I'm glad I'm not around anything right now. I'm glad I'm not around anybody, and so I feel like I need to dive in. I need to take the next step, which is, I need to give my quit trying to decide for myself, quit making my own decisions, and then take the advice of the people that have been there and done this, which is get a mentor. In my mind, there's several other things that I got to do. That's, I think, the primary. I've kind of refused to do that. So I'm going to try to take that next step. I'm going to take that next step.
So, thank you, dude. So you described it as hitting a wall, right? And it's almost like the wall that you're hitting isn't present. You're not hitting a wall like right now, but you're just meditating on, if I was in this situation, you know what I mean? Or like other things that are just a little bit stressful, like, you know, job. I think you said something about insurance too. Just kind of recognizing that, okay, right now is kind of tough, so I may have to like increase a little bit more for these other things that may come up. Like increase your recovery as far as, you know what I mean?
Yes, what I'm doing is not enough. If I were in a vulnerable area, which where I'm from, my hometown, I've got a bunch of people that I know, and I love them all, but they all get high.
Right.
And I had these thoughts about being in that area. If I were in that area right now, I would be in trouble. I would think I would be using, but I wouldn't be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be content. I would be antsy and nervous. I would want to get out of that area, because if I stayed in that area, another problem or two or three might push me to the point where it's bucket, you know. And I realize that, and I see it, I feel it. So I feel like I need to go ahead and there again, you know, give my self-will over to the people that know, the people that keep telling me, here's what you need to do. You need a mentor. You know, you need to start working the steps. And then, you know, I can see myself getting through this little bump in the road, this, like, you know, this little mountain that's kind of like in front of me. Mm-hmm. I can move forward with it and let it go, and then get to where I was at a month ago or 3 weeks ago when I came straight out of a 30-day program and just had all the confidence in the world. And these thoughts never crossed my mind. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I've got to do that. And that's like I said, I got 2 days, today being one. I'll probably go ahead. I've got several numbers that I can call. These people that, you know, will be a mentor. But that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Awesome. At some point in our recovery, we may find that we have somehow shifted from trying to align our higher power's will, trying to align our will with a higher power's, to running on self-will. This happens so slowly and subtly that we hardly even notice. It seems as though we're especially vulnerable to self-will when things are going well. We cross a fine line that divides humble, honest pursuit of our goals from subtle manipulation and forced results. We find ourselves going just a little too far in a discussion to convince someone that we are right. We find ourselves holding on to something just a little too long. We realize that we haven't contacted our sponsor in quite a while. We feel a quiet, almost subtle discomfort that will alert us to this subtle shift away from recovery if we listen. You're even describing a sense of hitting a wall. You know what I mean? This feeling of discomfort that in the future I may not be able to do this or do that, and that's discomforting and shifts us back into recovery, recognizing the areas that we may have shifted away. Have there been times in my recovery when I found myself subtly taking back my will and my life? What alerted me, and what have I done to recommit myself to the third step? I'm going to share this real quick. When I had 6 months clean, I had, dude, I was fucking up bad, dude. I was on my way home. I had to go home for Christmas or something like that. And I had no step work. I was flip-flopping sponsors. I was fucking not working. I was just like, dude, just fucking not trying to become a productive member of society. Basically, just like trying to just like linger my way through recovery, just go to meetings, go to IOP, and hopefully I'm going to ride this wave out until the wheels fall off. And I had recognized this, luckily, because, I don't know, I just kept on going around and saying, like, I'm going home, and people were telling me how fucking stupid that is and how much I was going to fuck up. So what alerted me that I was taking my will back was me sharing my plans of the future, my course of actions, and people saying, dude, that's not a good course of actions. You haven't done this, this, and this, and yada, yada, yada. Like, you're putting yourself into a sticky situation. And to recommit myself, I actually picked up another white, dude. No relapse, just picked it up to recommit to the program. And I finished my first step before going home. And I think that, I mean, dude, looking back on it, that was just what I did to recommit myself to the fucking program of recovery, recognizing that I was fucking up. So what about you guys? Have there been times in your recovery where you found yourself subtly taking your life back?
Yes, definitely.
And what alerted you?
The legal issues always throw a big red flag. But like, just, recently, just being discontent in my temper. I had a guy come up to me, and I was in this drive-through restaurant, and this guy was, kind of bummy looking, and he was nice enough, and he said, kind of come to the window a little bit, and I rolled the window down, and he said, "You got $1?" And I didn't have any cash on me. I think I had a $10 bill, but I wasn't gonna give him 10. That's all the cash I had on me. But I'd have gave him $1. I gave a guy $1 here a couple of days before that.
Mm-hmm.
I would have gave the guy the $1. He kind of, as I said, man, if I had cash, I would. He kind of made a sideways remark when he walked off, and that just flew all over me. I was hollering at him. I was hollering at him going down the road when he was walking off, because he knew I was there. And he put his head down, didn't say nothing. And, I was just driving down the road, just letting him know about jobs and grow a set of balls, be a man. And I lost my temper, and I knew that was a bad thing, and I don't like doing that. And it was just another sign that I'm losing my I don't want to be that way. And so that was one of the things that I beat myself up. I'm still beating myself up over that, but that was a sign,
Yep. And then what did you do to recommit yourself? Have you done anything to kind of recommit yourself?
Meetings, talking right now. Talking right now. I usually don't do a lot of talking, so I'm just trying to get it out and see where it goes,
Yeah, bro.
And if I speak it about a mentor, if I speak it enough, then I'll it won't be such a hurdle for me. It'll be something I can accept a lot easier than if I just try to keep it inside and then not do it,
right?
Or try to hide it or whatever. Just get it out there and then make that move.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that, man. Anybody else find themselves subtly taking their will and life back?
I'll speak on that.
All right, what do we got?
I had a situation yesterday, which it was snowing on, of course, in NC, North Carolina, it was snowing a little bit more. So my daughter always cried about every year why it's not snowing. So it snowed about 3-4 inches over there. So I'm getting pictures of her playing in the snow. And then I just thought to myself, I started getting in depressed mode because I was like, I'm missing out on something. I'm missing out this situation that I could have been there, and I know it would have brought more light to her, me being present. So I had a thought of damn, usually when I feel like this, I want to drink. So I had the thought of it, but then I just started thinking to myself, is it really worth it? Is it really worth messing up everything that I accomplished right now? Just because of this feeling that I'm having right now. You know what I'm saying? So then I just sat back, started thinking about everything. And I was like, if I do that, is it going to change what happened? it's already done. You know, that situation happened. I can't drink and put myself in misery just because of that situation. So then I choose to take the tools that I've been using and just think to myself, well, there's going to be, next year there'll be snow. There might be twice as much snow. And just trying to see the good thing out of it. And I mean, that pulled me through, you know, because it was difficult for me and it did put me in a depressed mode that I'm missing my family and missing these opportunities. But at the end of the day, I'm doing it for myself. And I'm doing this for myself. And that's a big accomplishment to me, not only to myself, but to the people around me. You know, they see the difference. You know, they see how I speak, how I talk. That they're not, like you said before, walking on eggshells. They don't feel that way no more about me. Because every time it was just like, if I say the wrong thing, he's going to flip out on me. Now it's more like I can listen, and then I can listen to what they're telling me and take it in, and then also respond in a way that's respectable. And not only that, just they see the process and they see how it's